Welcome to our channel. My name is Jivgivgifty Javijavimgig, and it's a privilege to have you with us. In a world that's constantly shifting, where headlines fly by at lightning speed, it's more important than ever to pause, to understand, and to connect with the events shaping our lives and the lives of those around the globe. We're not just about delivering news, we're about providing context, exploring the nuances, and understanding the human element behind every story. Today, we're bringing you the top 5 most important global news stories you need to know. These aren't just fleeting moments, they are developments with far-reaching implications, and we believe that being informed is the first step towards engagement, and perhaps even change. We've dived deep, sifting through the noise to bring you what truly matters, what demands our attention right now. From monumental development projects that aim to redefine a nation's future, to the pressing global crises that test our collective humanity, and the technological revolutions that are reshaping society before our very eyes. These stories are interconnected. They speak to the challenges we face but also to the incredible resilience and innovation that emerges in response. Our goal here is to equip you with a clearer picture, to foster a deeper understanding of these complex issues. So I invite you to join me as we explore these 5 critical narratives. We'll go beyond the surface, ask the tough questions, and try to piece together the bigger picture. It's about understanding not just what is happening but why it's happening and what it could mean for all of us, no matter where we call home. Let's get started, because these are the stories that are not just making headlines but are actively writing the next chapter of our shared global history. Our first story takes us to the heart of the Arabian Peninsula, to Saudi Arabia, a nation undergoing a transformation so vast, so ambitious, it almost defies belief. I'm talking about Vision 2030, and specifically its crown jewel, the futuristic megacity project known as NEOM. This isn't just about building new cities. It's a profound attempt to pivot an entire economy away from its deep-seated reliance on oil, to diversify, to modernize, and to present a new face to the world. Imagine a $500 billion project, a region intended to be powered entirely by renewable energy, a hub for biotechnology, advanced manufacturing, and digital sciences, complete with revolutionary urban living concepts like The Line, a 170-kilometer-long city. The sheer scale is staggering, and it speaks volumes about the kingdom's aspirations to become a global powerhouse in innovation and sustainable living. But such grand ambitions are rarely without their complexities and questions. We're looking at a project that promises to create hundreds of thousands of jobs and attract global talent, potentially reshaping not just Saudi Arabia's economic landscape but also its social fabric. There are discussions about new legal and social norms within NEOM, distinct from the rest of the kingdom, which in itself is a fascinating development. However, the path is fraught with challenges. There are questions about the feasibility of such colossal undertakings, the environmental impact despite its green billing, the sourcing of materials and labor, and the very real human element concerning the displacement of local tribes and communities to make way for these futuristic developments. These are serious considerations that require transparent and ongoing scrutiny as this vision attempts to become reality. Ultimately, NEOM and Vision 2030 represent more than just an economic strategy. They signify a cultural and generational shift. The young population of Saudi Arabia is increasingly looking towards a future that is not solely defined by oil wealth, but by technological prowess and global integration. The success or failure of these initiatives will have profound implications not only for Saudi Arabia, but for the entire Middle East, potentially setting new benchmarks for development, or serving as a cautionary tale of ambition outstripping reality. We'll be watching closely how this monumental endeavor unfolds, because its impact will undoubtedly ripple outwards, influencing regional dynamics and global perceptions of what's possible in nation-building in the 21st century. Next, we turn to a crisis that often doesn't grab the loudest headlines, but touches the most fundamental aspect of human survival: food security. Across the globe, an alarming number of people are facing acute hunger, and the situation, I'm afraid, is being exacerbated by a confluence of devastating factors. We're seeing the ripple effects of protracted conflicts, most notably the war in Ukraine, which has disrupted critical supply chains for grain and fertilizer, impacting nations thousands of miles away. This isn't just a localized problem, it's a global shockwave that has sent food prices soaring, pushing basic sustenance out of reach for millions of vulnerable families, particularly in regions already struggling with poverty and instability, such as parts of sub-Saharan Africa, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. The climate crisis is another relentless driver of this emergency. We're witnessing unprecedented weather extremes, prolonged droughts in some areas, devastating floods in others, that are crippling agricultural production. Farmers who have tilled their land for generations are now finding their livelihoods and their communities' food sources decimated by conditions they cannot control. This isn't a future threat, it's happening now. Add to this the lingering economic fallout from the pandemic, which strained national budgets and household incomes, and you have a perfect storm. International aid organizations are sounding the alarm, warning that without urgent and sustained action, we could face famines of catastrophic proportions in multiple regions. The international community is responding, of course, with humanitarian aid and diplomatic efforts to unblock food supplies and support struggling agricultural sectors. But the scale of the challenge is immense. It requires not just immediate relief but also long-term strategies to build more resilient food systems, to promote sustainable agriculture, and to address the root causes of conflict and climate change. What does this mean for all of us? It means that the stability of nations, the health of populations, and the future of entire generations are intrinsically linked to our collective ability to ensure that everyone, everywhere has access to sufficient nutritious food. This is a moral imperative, but it's also a matter of global security. Chapter 3. The AI Revolution: Promise, Peril, and the Urgent Quest for Governance. We now shift our focus to a revolution that is unfolding at breathtaking speed. One that promises to redefine almost every aspect of our lives. Artificial intelligence, particularly the rapid advancements in generative AI. Tools that can create text, images, code, and even video with minimal human prompting are no longer the stuff of science fiction. They are here, and their capabilities are expanding exponentially. On one hand, the potential benefits are truly transformative. Imagine AI accelerating medical breakthroughs, personalizing education, optimizing resource management to combat climate change, and unlocking new frontiers of scientific discovery. For many industries, from creative arts to complex engineering, AI offers tools that can augment human ingenuity and productivity in ways we are only just beginning to comprehend. However, this powerful technology arrives with a host of profound ethical dilemmas and societal challenges that we are scrambling to address. There are very real concerns about job displacement as AI systems become capable of performing tasks previously done by humans. The potential for misuse is also a significant worry. Think of sophisticated disinformation campaigns fueled by AI-generated fake news, the erosion of privacy through advanced surveillance, or the perpetuation of biases embedded in AI algorithms, leading to discriminatory outcomes in areas like hiring, loan applications, or even criminal justice. The very nature of truth and authenticity comes into question when AI can create convincing deepfakes or generate plausible but entirely fabricated narratives. The critical question now facing governments, industry leaders, and ethicists worldwide is how to govern this rapidly evolving technology. How do we foster innovation, while simultaneously erecting guardrails to mitigate the risks? There's a global conversation underway about regulation, about ethical frameworks, about transparency and accountability for AI systems. Finding the right balance is crucial because AI is not just another technological advancement, it's a force that could reshape power structures, economies, and the very fabric of society. Ensuring that AI develops in a way that is safe, equitable, and beneficial for humanity as a whole is perhaps one of the most pressing challenges of our time, and the window for establishing thoughtful governance may be closing faster than we think. Chapter 4. Our Planet on Fire and Drowning: Confronting the Climate Change Reality. Our fourth story is one that underpins so many others, a crisis that is no longer looming but is demonstrably here, impacting communities with devastating force: climate change. This past year, and indeed the past decade, has been a relentless parade of record-breaking extreme weather events. We've seen unprecedented heat waves scorching continents, turning cities into ovens and fueling catastrophic wildfires that rage for weeks, destroying ecosystems and displacing thousands. In other parts of the world, the story is one of too much water, torrential rainfall leading to historic floods, submerging towns, ruining crops, and again, forcing people from their homes with little more than the clothes on their backs. These aren't isolated incidents. They are part of a clear and scientifically established pattern. The overwhelming consensus among climate scientists is that these events are being intensified by human-caused global warming, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels. Reports from organizations like the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, paint an increasingly stark picture, warning that we are rapidly approaching, and in some cases exceeding, critical tipping points, beyond which the impacts could become irreversible and far more severe. The language from scientists is no longer cautious, it is urgent, a desperate plea for immediate and drastic action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The targets set by international agreements like the Paris Accord are vital, but achieving them requires a monumental global effort, a transformation of our energy systems, our industries, and even our lifestyles. What we're witnessing is not just an environmental crisis, it's a humanitarian crisis, an economic crisis, and a security crisis all rolled into one. The impacts are disproportionately felt by the most vulnerable populations, those who have contributed least to the problem but are on the front lines of its consequences. The choices we make today, as individuals, as communities, as nations, will determine the kind of planet we leave for future generations. The challenge is immense, requiring unprecedented international cooperation, technological innovation, and a fundamental shift in how we value our natural world. Ignoring the flashing red lights from our planet is no longer an option. The cost of inaction is simply too high. Chapter 5. The Shifting World Order, New Alliances, and Rising Tensions. For our final story tonight, we step back to look at the broader geopolitical chessboard, which is currently undergoing a significant and potentially turbulent realignment. The post-Cold War era, often characterized by unipolarity or a specific set of established power dynamics, is visibly giving way to a more complex, multipolar world. We're seeing the rise of new economic and political power centers, and with that, the formation of new alliances and the re-evaluation of old ones. Nations are increasingly seeking to diversify their partnerships, forge new economic blocs, and assert their influence on the global stage in ways that challenge traditional structures. This isn't necessarily a negative development, as it can lead to a more balanced distribution of power, but it also introduces new uncertainties and potential friction points. One notable trend is the growing prominence of groupings like BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which recently expanded its membership, signaling an intent to create a more influential platform for emerging economies and to offer alternative perspectives on global governance and development. This happens alongside ongoing tensions in critical regions like the Indo-Pacific, where strategic competition is intensifying and long-standing disputes continue to simmer. The global landscape is becoming less predictable, with nations navigating a complex web of overlapping interests, rivalries and shared challenges, from trade and technology to security and ideological differences. The rules-based international order established in the aftermath of World War II is itself being tested and reinterpreted by various global actors. What this means is that diplomacy is becoming more crucial, yet arguably more difficult than ever. Understanding these shifting allegiances, the motivations behind them, and their potential impact on global stability, trade, and cooperation on transnational issues like climate change or pandemics is essential. We are in a period of transition, and such periods are often marked by instability as a new equilibrium is sought. For citizens around the world, this evolving geopolitical map will shape everything from economic opportunities to security concerns. Keeping a close watch on these macro-political trends is vital to understanding the forces that are not just influencing nations, but are actively reshaping the very architecture of international relations for decades to come. And those are the 5 global stories we believe demand your attention this week. From the ambitious reshaping of nations to the urgent cries of our planet and the complex dance of international relations, the world is in constant motion. My name is Jivgivgifty Jivui, and our aim here is not to leave you overwhelmed, but rather to foster a deeper understanding and encourage continued engagement with these critical issues. Information is a powerful tool, and being well-informed allows us to be more thoughtful global citizens, capable of discerning the nuances behind the headlines and understanding the interconnectedness of our world. The narratives we've explored today are ongoing, and we will continue to follow them, bringing you updates and in-depth analysis. The challenges are significant, yes, but so too is the human capacity for resilience, innovation, and cooperation. It's by understanding these stories, by discussing them, and by considering their impact on our lives and the lives of others, that we can begin to make sense of the complexities around us, and perhaps even contribute to positive change in our own ways, however small they may seem. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you spending your time with us to delve into these important global developments. Don't forget to like this video if you found it informative. Comment below with your thoughts or questions. We truly value your perspective, and subscribe for more updates on global news. Your engagement helps us continue this important work of keeping you informed and connected to the wider world. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and take care.